Hello, today we're going to make this beautiful cabochon ring with green aventurine stone. It's got such a beautiful color. I love it. Let's get started. To begin, we cut 3 lengths of copper wire. The wire is 1 millimeter thick and the lengths are 30 centimeters each. You can straighten them if they're a little bit bent. And then starting 5 centimeters in from the beginning, you will start a twist. You can use either a handheld vise or clamp or pliers to hold those 3 wires in place. Or you could even tape them, but I think it might be a little bit difficult to do the twist. Once you have twisted them, and check the size to make sure that it's about the circumference of the ring you want to make. Then we hammer those strands flat, but not too set because you can break the strands. If you were to use a metal hammer, it will just break the strands. So we do it gently but firmly to lock it in. You'll see that the twist is more or less centered in the middle of the wires, leaving tails on each end, and these are used for the finishing off of the ring. I keep a few sizes of ring, say size 5, size 6, size 7, 8, 9, 10, in little strips of wire that I have marked, and that is the circumference on each size that I'd like to make. And this helps enormously to make the rings to size. Once you've wrapped that twisted length around your ring mandrel, take it off and line up the top wires. And then once they are lined, use your flat pliers and flatten off an area at the top. This is where your stone is going to sit. So the flattened area is about the size of your cabochon. You can even measure it, plus just a tiny bit, a millimeter or two. After this, we're going to use 0.4 millimeter thin copper wire to wrap that join so it stays in place and it makes a nice solid platform for your stone. This is such a nice method of setting a cabochon stone. If you are a beginner, then this will suit you just fine because you could use an ordinary band that is not twisted. You could have plaited one. There are different, you could have done a very pretty weave. So it is up to you how you do your band. And then again, bring it up to the top, join them, mesh them together, and make that flat platform. So you could have quite a few variations here in the way the ring will look. I have a quick tip for you on how to secure that cabochon stone to stop it from moving while you're doing the next stage of this ring design. I use a little ball of pressed sticky glue and put it on top of those wires onto the wrapped area, and then place my cabochon on this and squeeze it down. It doesn't show underneath, and it just helps so much to keep the stone in place until we have put the surrounding wires around it to support it and keep it in. So give it a try. Here we begin to shape the wires around that cabochon stone, and you can see how that pressed sticky glue is helping to keep the stone in place. It's not a permanent glue, but it helps us with this setting. I don't mind using a few shortcuts if they're going to be helpful. Now we're going to wind some pre-wound wraps, which I then just slide on and off the wires of the ring, and it really is a time saver. You can, of course, do it on site, wrap it around that wire, and you don't need to pre-wind them. But I just keep a little jar of these, and they work really well. You can either wind it around a piece of wire by hand, or I take out my cordless drill. I fit the wire and the little wrapped 4 millimeter, 0.4 millimeter wire into the drill bit, and off I go. And you can see how quickly it builds up these little wraps. I have also seen how they make the little pre-wraps using a very thin wire and rolling it along a desktop. That's another method. Bend those wires into shape around the cabochon. Your outer wires on either side will be the ones with the wraps, and the inner wires on each side will also be wrapped around the band on the opposite side. But I prefer to keep that plain and just snug down to hold that stone in place. So your first inner wire will be locked across the stone and wrapped around the band on the other side, close to the cabochon. Next is to put the pre-wrap, wire wrap, around, slide it onto that outer wire. And you can trim off a little bit if it's too long and test how it'll look. And here again, once it's snugged around the stone, you will attach it to the opposite side. Wrap it around and close it up so that there are no little snags. Then you're going to do the other side. You do it exactly the same way. And first, the inner wire goes across. It fits nicely over the stone and is locked in on the opposite side. And then you put the little wrap onto your outer wire and fit it, curl it across, see how it looks, and then lock that in as well. These are the wires that are going to hold your cabochon in place. That little piece of glue was just to help keep it there, but it's not going to set and it's not going to help. It has to be locked in with the wires. And this is a lovely strong setting. At this stage, you use your own creativity and artistic judgment and look at those wires and see that they are sitting in a nice shape around the stone. This is where your own creativity comes in, and you can trust it. We all have an artistic side which we should nurture and value. I think this has turned out beautifully. My next project will be on upcycling copper and using older copper to make new things. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.